They look like something out of an Indiana Jones movie. Bridges made out of living trees. This is Loneliest, a remote village in northeastern India where locals have been growing bridges for hundreds of years. That's Wiston Mawa, the head of the village. He's lived here his whole life, since 1952.
Kita kerja start dengan gini riu temen suaki medet padat gini tikila thung gini ning jeri kanya tikila bu gini jengking haman lagi kedua jaka ke ba pendon kam ha kayak kayen nang ban kam besuk ban lại yêu lại hát ban đi lại thiệt chúng ta lại beri lại khang.
To get the roots to grow into a bridge across water, they use wire and old tree trunks to guide their path.
Tehapur dangrit mangga kani kala dan lupa. Empat long yai kim ya ni banyak dangrit. Ini tang ala dap menurut prosau senem. Jika ni jengking buat di itu ke bah ar kala long yai. Jadi mata sak enam kan juga. Bikin diri dan hang ni ajar ni kan senang. Kebala penpau bersibun. Beriu nak kelang saudong kebelawan ban cuma kai ban pai kai kan ga jengking ha ban pai ke ba sadin ni ban besuk iki kun sin.
There's a world-renowned topiary garden in the tiny town of Bishopville, South Carolina, and that garden was created by this man, a man named Pearl.
I'm Pearl Fry, and this is my garden.
Pearl started the garden in 1981 with the goal of winning Yard of the Month from the local garden club.
I went to a neighborhood to buy a house, and the reason they didn't want to sell me a house, they said I wouldn't keep up the yard.
There was a stereotype at the time that African Americans didn't keep up their yards.
So I figured if I did win Yard of the Month, and the person that made that statement could understand you can't judge people by one person. Once I got Yard of the Month, people couldn't believe it.
Pearl now has over 300 plants, most of which were throwaways that came from the recycling bin at a local nursery.
I don't water, I don't spray, I don't fertilize. I use no chemicals. It's all natural. It's all pretty well done organically. Some of my tallest plant that was recycled is around 30 feet.
So many people drove by Pearl's house to see his garden that he opened it up to the public.
Hey, that looks like a sheep. A big sheep.
I would say about 10,000 people visit my garden every year.
What else do you want to look at on the map?
People come from all over the world to see it. I've had people from Australia, Japan, Korea. I wanted to share it because so many people came out and wanted to see it. You very seldom see something start out so simple and make an impact that this garden has made. The garden is about love, and the last thing you see before you leave my garden is love, peace, and goodwill.
The Redwood Forest is a very special place. It's the darkest forest on Earth. The trees are so tall, they create their own shadows. And in those shadows, there are a lot of secrets. My name is Dave Cutie. I'm a docent here at Henry Cowell Redwood State Park. I consider myself kind of a volunteer naturalist. and redwood researcher. Before coming to Henry Cowell, I was an engineer in Silicon Valley, but I just love the redwoods. I've always been an outdoor kind of person. I've been coming here for 40 years. I come so often now, I swear I could almost tell when a single branch fell. These are the coastal redwood, Sequoia sempervirens. It is the tallest tree on earth by species. Their wood is very, very interesting. It's red in color. It's very complex genetically, and you can have some that are not like all the others. Albino redwoods have been called ghosts of the forest. We have found 13 albinos in this park. And not very many, not when you consider there's 2 million redwood trees out there. I really know albinos. I know where they all are, and I continue to look for more. Albino redwoods have a very, very soft nature. They aren't as structurally sound as a normal redwood. And we keep trying to understand why they form here. When we first started looking at these things, we said, okay, they're genetically different, but it could be contamination. So we have done some testing, found that these guys actually collect more nickel than these guys. Nickel would normally kill chlorophyll, but the albino redwood doesn't have any chlorophyll, so it doesn't hurt it at all. So where's the source of nickel? Well, we're on a railroad. Some researchers think it is, acting like a liver, filtering out the toxic components, protecting the rest of the forest. When I first started here, I started telling everybody where they were. And then I started finding pieces of albino redwood on the ground. People would go and touch and fold and break off pieces, and I realized that I couldn't do that. I could not be open with people because they were going to go in and destroy it. So their location has been kept secret. Redwoods are a treasure of the earth. They really are. And the more you study them, the more you realize how unique they are and how adaptable they are. Part of the fascination of the redwood forest is its diversity. I am continuing to be fascinated by what I see.
This is the story of a plant, but not just any plant. It is the story of a plant that long, long ago once ruled the world. A plant that today is the very last of its kind. It's this plant behind me, Encephalatus woodii, E. woodii for short, and I've been looking after it for over 20 years. It was named for British botanist John Medley Wood, who in 1895 discovered it growing on a hillside on the coast of South Africa. The strange, handsome plant caught his eye, and he carefully removed a small portion of it and had it shipped all the way to London, to here, Kew Gardens, where it's been for the last 117 years. But its history goes much, much further back. You see, Encephalatus woodii is what is known as a cycad, and cycads have been around for 300 million years. As the millennium rolled on, cycads flourished, providing shade for triceratops, a perch for pterodactyls, and a tasty snack for brontosauruses. At one point during the Jurassic, cycads made up 20% of all the plants on Earth and covered every corner of the globe. But the good times couldn't last forever. The dinosaurs went extinct. Ice ages came and went. New modern plants like conifers and fruit trees started pushing cycads out. And the once proud population of E. woodii were reduced and reduced and reduced until there was possibly only one left. One single solitary E. woodii growing quietly on a hillside. Which brings us right back to John Medley Wood. At the time, he had no way of knowing just how rare his discovery was, but expedition after expedition in search of more E. woodii have proved fruitless. You see, Cycads are dioecious, meaning you need separate male and female plants to create a new one. And this one happens to be a male, a true lonely bachelor. If a female mate cannot be found, it really will be the last of its kind. To this day, researchers are still looking. After all, it's a big world and might just be a chance. In the meantime, he'll have me to keep him company.